Hello and welcome to Queers and Soaps. I am Eric, joined once again with Kier,
Hmm.
bringing you some more Ryan's Hope episodes 81 to 85. Tell me all the credits and we'll chat. These were really good episodes. I was really enjoying myself here. I was like, will Frank get on that stage? What the fuck is Delia doing? She's a crazy, I don't know what she wants. I'm so confused. Why is she trying to
He
haul him up?
wants to destroy his career so he won't have reasons to hang out with Jill and he won't have reasons to ignore her. And then they
All
can live
right.
happily ever after in Delia land.
So Delia can and does she not always look like the guiltiest person in the room? I'm like, how don't anybody be like this bitch? This bitch did something. That's what I would do. I'd be like, she did something.
they're all I'm playing with my light. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm so used to everyone's so used to thinking Delia's an idiot that they can't get it through their heads that she's not. And that
I don't
she's
know. Sometimes I feel like she is. I don't know. I don't know.
no, she's well, listen.
She's very childlike. She acts like
And
a
I think that's
15-year-old.
what people think, and then people go, "Oh, poor Delia. Oh, poor Delia." And then she sabotages his fucking
Oh
wheelchair.
my! I know this is crazy. So anyway, let's get into it. Recapping. Episode 81. Bob question. I called Bob Tom at first. I'm like, I forgot his name. I don't know why. Like, but it's Bob. Bob questions Delia about trash in the office because he had busted her the last set of episodes. She kind of goes off. Um, he's like, you've been doing good, like helping and all that. Like, why would you do this? Like, what's going on? Again, like, I'm kind of the same way. I'm like, what, girl? This isn't going to win Frank. I don't know why you think it might. She says like I'll be all alone, and she'll sound stupid if he takes her out, like all this crazy stuff, because she's Delia. I don't give her as much credit as you do.
I do.
Um,
Give her a lot of credit.
but
I think she has a pretty strong point.
I know someone like this, and I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Um, Bucky goes to Nell to tell her that he and Seneca want her to fight to stay alive. Again, they want her to do that magnetic thing, whatever. She says she'll think about it. Bob tells Delia he won't say anything. But then he does. He tells everybody
he does,
that.
literally everyone. He's so pretty. Bob is a lying sack of crap. What the hell, Bob?
Yeah, like it's like nobody likes to keep a secret on here, which is good for us because it's very entertaining and it's still dramatic. It's still working. It's also comedic.
Yes.
Pat talks to Delia. Faith comes. Delia rolls out and makes some Sammys with Maeve. She just wants Frank home and all this stuff. And I think Pat was like, "Where else would he go?" Or was it Maeve? Maeve was like, "Where else would he go? Like, of course he's going to come home to you."
They have no idea that this man is cheating on her, so she's dealing with that all on her own. The only one who knows is Mary, and Mary feels
Poor lady that pushed her man down the steps. I feel so bad.
he was cheating on her previous to that. So I give nothing to Frank. Frank sucks. But like he could have divorced her, and instead he's afraid of his mama, so he can't divorce.
You could have killed him. So it's kind of like you know,
listen, we support.
We're on the same level. I don't know. Nell and Seneca talk. She wants some more info on the new technology. Obviously, she wants the pros and cons. It's the magnetic approach, is what they're talking about. She feels like a guinea pig. She says she'll do it. Pat and Faith are being cute. They're getting very close. I don't know, like, when did this happen? Because I thought they were, like, staying away from each other, but now they're not.
It helped as soon as everyone told them to stay away from each other. Then they decided that they absolutely could not stay away from each other. And they actually talk about it at one point. They're like, "Oh, we've all been warned against each other." And then they're both like, "Well, don't take that to heart, and let's do what we're doing.
Do our thing." Maeve and Johnny talk about Pat, and Pat sings a song to me.
On cue. On cue, the parents are like, pretty soon he'll be singing to her because that's how he woos the ladies. And then he literally starts singing, and I was like, "You're killing me right now."
Just like his mama. We love when Mama Maeve sings.
Sure you do.
Episode 82. Delia's upset with herself for the office stuff. Well, saying she is, but she's not. She had to take it out on something.
No, she's already on the second plan.
Bob says he'll be there for her. Delia calls some lady for rosary prayers. I don't know if she knew.
That's not why she's calling her. She calls everybody in that book. She calls everybody in that book to tell them that Frank is so sick and he's never going to be able to do this, and that everyone's him.
Well, she told her not to tell anybody, but of course she knew that was probably the lady that would tell everybody.
She did that on purpose. That all of that.
Mrs. Berger. Oh, I know. I'm very aware.
I love that.
Jack and Mary are at Lem's. They're being cute, flirty. They talk about traveling and stuff. And she's like, well, I don't know if I can.
What a horrible conversation they have. It was terrible. I hated it.
No, I didn't mind it. I like them.
At one point when he was on his end of tour in the army, he was in all these countries with a girl he was dating. She looks at him and she goes, I was 7. And I was like, this relationship is disgusting. I hate this so much.
Oh, geez. All right.
I hate it.
Gross. You hate a lot. Delia is happy she can confide in Mrs. Berger. Pat comes in. Berger, as soon as she gets off the phone, tells her husband, and it's all downhill from there. Saying, I guess, that Frank is in the worst shape possible and all of this stuff. And they want to get out word that actually Frank is doing well and well enough to going to speak at the end of the week and all that stuff.
Yep.
Delia opens up to Pat a bit, brings up the past. Well, I liked you. Then I was, figured I'd fall in love with your brother because you didn't want anything. He's like, yeah, I'm not I like that he admits he's a whore. He's just like, yeah, I'm not, I'm my own man. I want to do my own thing.
But the whole thing is he knew that he was going to be in medical school for 8 years and he needed to focus on medical school.
Right. Oh, for sure.
Not to have any long-term relationships because they get in the way of his goals. And he didn't lie to anybody. He tells everybody right up front.
He tells everybody the truth. Right. As she calls him her best friend and kisses him on the cheek, which I thought was kind of cute, but Pat seems a little perplexed.
Because they're both in love with each other still. They still
I don't think Pat is in love with her, but I think Delia is in love with him. Jack says how he wants to take Mary away. She says yes, but she's not sure if she can. Mary tells Jack she loves him. I guess he didn't really respond. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he knows how to handle it.
His conversation was basically if we go away together, I want to go away together. And she's like, yeah, but can you guarantee we're not gonna have to have sex? And he's like, I can't guarantee that. We're definitely gonna have sex, basically. And she's like, well, I'm not ready for that. I'm not gonna do it. And he's like, well, why you gotta be so lame? And she's like, listen, I love you, and that's where it ends for you and where it starts for me. So what she's saying is anytime he falls in love, he runs, and she can't sleep with someone until she's in love with them. So I hate this relationship. I really hate it. It's every week it's more annoying to me because she deserves better.
I don't know. I like their chemistry. And I like the stuff together.
I don't like him.
He's not that old. He's 30.
He's 20, maybe.
She's 22, isn't she? I forget how old she is. She's 20? No, I think she's 20. 22? I don't remember.
If she's 22 and she was 7 years old when he was finishing his 3rd tour in Vietnam, then he was at least 20 then.
I don't know. We don't know ages very. Look at Beyond the Gates. Everybody looks like they're 25 and they have grandkids, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Whatever. We're soap opera minded people.
The character's age. I'm not saying the actor's age. The character.
No, but I'm just saying, even with soaps, it's hard to I don't know, know what the exact ages are of these people, even characters or not characters.
Look, normally I wouldn't really care too much about the age gap. I do, but I don't care too much, except for the pressure he keeps putting on her to sleep with him. It just
yeah, for sure.
It feels gross. It feels too much. I'm like, it
It
feels like he's talking down to her for having beliefs. I don't like a lot of it. There's like, it's not just like the age gap. It's him using the power of his age to push her into
yeah,
something
because
she's not ready for.
right, I get that, I do. But I still liked it, and I feel like I don't know. I really think she's gonna wait till marriage, so I think he's gonna end up falling and just be like, "We got to get married because I got to bang you."
Well,
And
if that
I think
happens, good,
I think
then
it'll
she
go well.
pushes on the power dynamic and, like, pushes back on it. But right now,
If
he's using the weight of his experience to push on her to get what he wants out of
yeah,
her.
I get what you mean. Bob tells her Delia did it. Um,
Not even a breath. Not even a what happened here. He's just like, Delia did it. Like,
mm-hmm.
he just rats her out.
Yeah, tells Mary immediately. Mary gets home and goes off on Delia, but then
Yeah.
Delia like kind of begs her. She's like, "But I've been making calls and blah." And she's like, "All right, whatever."
I've been making calls to sabotage this entire thing with your money. I love Delia.
And Mary basically says, "Get your shit together," and that's how that one ended. Episode 83. Frank is sweating in his chair. He's trying to move. He's trying to do all the things to get ready for the end of the week finale of getting on stage.
Mm-hmm.
He's dizzy, sweaty. Mary is there, of course, helping him. Maeve comes in. She warns Frank to, I guess, spend time with Delia. He's like, pay attention to your girl because she's doing some batshit crazy shit. Like,
Well, she's like, she's lonely. She feels abandoned. She's unhappy.
yeah.
She's unhappy. The baby's unhappy. Could you act like a husband and father and care about your family? And he's like, no, I care about me. And she'll get over
I
it.
love me. I love me.
And I'm just like, we're supposed to like this man. You know, just tell your mama that you want a divorce, loser.
But Delia's the same way. She's all about herself too. She wants her Frank to herself. So I mean, it's working both ways, girl. I know you're Team Delia, but I'm telling you.
Frank could have divorced his wife and moved on with his life. Instead, he held her there.
Oh, it's complicated. Where was I? Mary tells Frank about Dee ruining the headquarters. Everybody, I don't know. I thought this headquarters ruining was going to be like more of a thing, but I feel like everybody's like, "Oh, it's all right. Like, it's okay.
Well,
it
Mary
happens."
was upset. He's like, all those donor lists and stuff we spent all that time making. What the hell?
Right.
And Bob's
she
like,
trashed that place. She
Oh,
trashed that place.
Ripped things to shreds.
Right. Like they should have been a lot more pissed than they were. Johnny's fighting with somebody on the phone, I guess because Frank is doing better, but you know, he's getting the word spreading that he's not doing that great.
One of the ladies called him to be like,
yeah,
what's this I hear about Frank being in bad shape? And he gets mad and he goes, you come to the rally and you see that Frank's doing just fine.
So Delia's little side plan is working. She gets all the plan. But
I think it's going to backfire on her because I think now even more people wanted to come to the event to see him there. So I think it kind of is going to work. It worked against her.
Yeah, I think so too. Seneca and Ed talk about Nell and the magnetic procedure. He wants Ed to do it and to pick someone, which I felt like was shitty. I'm like, you couldn't let him pick him, give him a day, give him a few hours to think. He's like, I want to know now who's going to assist you.
He's like, obviously he can't do the procedure because he's her husband, but also he knows that they're friends and that like if it was up to him, it would be romantic. So he's like, let me put my wife's paramour in charge of the surgery. So then if she dies, it's on him. And then like pick someone to help you. Your options are your son, who everyone hates, or your adopted son, who everyone loves. And he's
Roger
like,
or Clem.
Yeah. So then like he goes, well, I got to go with Clem because otherwise like it looks really bad. And also Roger will get the opportunity to run the entire department by himself, which is like a win-win for whoever goes and whoever stays. So he picks Clem. And like he doesn't even have to think of like he doesn't have time to think about it. Like you're right, Seneca.
Right.
Like, absolutely not. You have no thoughts. We're doing it now. Go, go, go. And he's like, oh my god, I pick Clem.
I seriously like. I mean, like yes, I know Seneca. Like I want to root for Seneca like a little bit.
No.
And I'm thinking like if he even gave him like lunch. I know you're not, but but I'm gonna give it like just you got till lunch and then let me know. Like give a little, Seneca. Like, you're not helping anybody
Like,
here.
well, first off, when is the flight leave for California? You have until however long it takes for me to make those reservations. So he could have had until the morning. Seneca didn't need to do that.
Right. Right. It got on my nerves. I'm like, come on, like, give me something. Like, give me some reason to like him a tad. But we don't. We hate him.
No, I hate Seneca.
Great actor.
Do you wanna hear one more
Kills
reason
it.
why I hate Seneca?
Go for it.
They do this whole thing with Bucky and a mask made out of corn husk or something, and they say about how Seneca's Native American, but then, Nell goes, "He's only 1/8 Seneca Indian," and, like, at the time, it was very popular for white guys to claim that they were related to Native Americans by saying they were, like, 1/14 Cherokee or something, and that just
Yeah, that was a
really
thing.
felt like
Yeah.
it, right? And he's like, "Oh, from the Seneca tribe," or whatever, and I'm like, this guy, do we even know that's true? Like, it was his grandmother half or a third or 12th? Like, what like, he's 1/8. He's 1/8.
Yeah. I got you.
You know what I mean? It felt very much like, I don't know,
Yeah.
a thing you do.
So Pat goes to Faith's for lunch again. She makes salami sandwiches. I like how she's like, like I'm a good cook or whatever, and I'm like, it's a sandwich. Like, you don't cook a sandwich, but okay.
I think that's a
You know
joke
how to
between
make a sandwich.
that she's a terrible
Yeah.
she's bad.
And they're being flirty, and they get a little handsy with their hands,
They talk about surgeon's hands.
and they're giving looks. And I'm like, oh man, they're going in. And she talks about how she panicked when she was with Bucky and all that, and she's like, kind of asks him for a kiss, and I'm like, oh, all right, kiss feels good. They talk about Maeve. This is where you had brought that up, where they, Maeve tried to warn them both because they're both, how it is. She panicked when she was with Bucky. Asked for the kiss. She says it feels good. They talk about Maeve. They kiss again. The second kiss was better. I was like, oh, all right. They were showing some chemistry. Yeah. I mean, I like their chemistry already, but again, I don't know if Pat would be a good man for her. I don't know.
I don't care. I'd like to see where it goes and then find out later. Like, because if Faith gets hurt, like, she walked herself into this scenario because she knew what she was
totally.
Going to do.
Totally.
So it's kind of like if she gets hurt,
even reminds her. Even like reminds her. He's like, "This is how it is."
By the way,
I'm a hoe. It's just how it is.
I'm gonna flirt with you. I'm gonna get where I can get with you, and then I'm gonna go date the next girl. And she's like, I don't care. Like, so I don't care about her feelings in that scenario.
Right.
She walked herself into the pool full of piranha. I'm supposed to be like, oh no, piranha. I don't.
Oh no. Frank doesn't want to live with Delia anymore. He's talking about divorce. He wheels one time. He's in the wheelchair. He wheels one time. He can't do it anymore. He's done. Can't do it. So I'm guessing we're like, oh, what is he going to do? I already had thought of an electric wheelchair, but I didn't think they would.
We're in the future.
I wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. We knew they were around because wasn't there one in Peyton Place? And I think we even mentioned like, oh, they had them back in the '60s because we didn't know.
Really rudimentary ones, but like they would have been outrageously expensive. So it's like,
I think Martin Peyton had one.
I don't remember seeing.
Maybe
probably did.
Maybe it was like how like everything comes first, but always the rich people get it first, and then we eventually get it.
They're leftovers.
So episode 84, Mary, Bob, and Delia are at the campaign headquarters. Things are getting wild. They're preparing for Frank's appearance or whatever. Jill goes to see Frank. Roger, I think Frank's not there, or whatever. He's doing the rehab or whatever. Roger asks about Delia. So they have a nice little moment.
Were you trying to borrow money from her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is a nice moment.
It was a nice moment because he could have been like he asked for the $2,500 and she's like, oh, $2,500. Like she was gonna lend it to him, like thinking it was maybe like $500 or less.
No,
but it was $2,500.
Yeah.
And he said for a loan for real estate, well, we know it's for gambling. Mm-hmm. That little Dickens. So she says no, but then like they're cool. So
they do talk after that, yeah.
Right. I mean, it's not like he could have been like, fine, maybe like a lot of like that's how I thought it was going to end, which is how he acts.
They actually talk with each other like they're like we're very fond of each other now.
Right. That's what I was saying. It was a good moment. Okay. Sure, ask for money. I mean, you got to butter them up first. Delia's being shady on the phone. We know she's still making the calls against Frank. She always has those. I'm like, it's like the director's like, look shady, and she's like she just says these. I'm like, every scene. Excuse me.
She's not good. Well, she's a really great actress because like she's ridiculous.
No, actually, she probably is good, but nobody else around is like saying, "Do you see her face?" Like I'd be like, "This bitch is doing something." Like come on, like she always looks like she's doing something. First of all, even after the first, like it would have been funny in like the first few episodes after like, oh, I think she did it because she looks suspicious. Like nobody said it. Do you remember how fucking shady she was? And then she ended up doing it, and we weren't really surprised. I mean, we were like a little bit surprised because I felt like it was almost too obvious that she would have done it because of all the faces.
Oh, we're like in episode 3, and we're like, did Delia do it? She looks
but being like, we're in our current minds, we're always so used to a twist now, so we're like, it can't be Delia because it's too obvious, and it looked like she did it, and then she did it, and we're just like, oh, all right. So I guess it was a twist in a way.
Yes.
Anyway, Seneca and Clem come to see Nell. She's like, oh, that was quick. It's going to be the end of next week, so things are moving along. Clem reassures Nell that it will be all good. Clem tells Roger, and Roger gets mad. I kind of liked where this went. It gave Roger some juice, and I'm like, it's about time he gets something.
I liked where it went, but I also liked how Clem was with Nell because Nell took the opportunity to apologize for how shady and terrible he was to them in the beginning. And he is a better man than me because he let her off the hook because she was ill and he could understand her need for efficiency, why she was pushing them so hard. But I would have just accepted that apology and that would have been it because he's a better man than me. He's like, yeah, I understand now, knowing that your medical history, why you would be so, crazy. And she's like, yeah, but you didn't deserve that. So like, I like that moment that she apologized. She also owes that apology to Nurse Ramona.
Yeah. If Nurse Ramona's here anymore, because I know Lemon Lady said that Nurse Ramona goes away soon.
No.
But I don't know how soon. I mean, I forget. I don't know what month we're in. I want to say November, maybe December. I don't know. There was a pumpkin. We might be around October then. Remember, Bob took a pumpkin to go see Frank or something.
I don't remember that.
He had a pumpkin from the office and he like threw it in his other hand and he said, oh, I'm going to go see Frank and take on this, whatever. So Clem tells Roger, I already said that. Nell tells Seneca she's worried that she won't be the same after the procedure. He's like, trust me, you got like 50% chance like of everything, which isn't, it's 50-50 or anything. It doesn't help, yeah. Nell says, like, for the first time, I'm actually glad you're here. Which, I mean, she really wouldn't be going through any of that if, because he's there. I mean.
I don't know. It depends on how this turns out because still it feels like she didn't want to go through the procedure. She just wanted to do her work. And then these two men bullied her into doing a procedure that only has a 50-50 chance of working. Right. And she's worried that she won't be the same afterwards. So what if this procedure damages her memory or her brain and she doesn't get to finish anything? At least Clem realized that she had that new dye and that they could use the dye during the procedure so she could get more research information during the procedure. So like, at least I'm like, acknowledge the fact that she's a scientist who wants scientific, does the data and all. But like Seneca just wants his wife to be okay. He wouldn't care if she came out dumb. He'd probably be happy. Great, now she'll do what I want her to do. Woo!
Yeah, like, I don't know. I feel bad for now. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen either. I feel
like she's been bullied into this procedure that she may not want.
Yeah, she seems like hesitant and scared and nervous. Like, I don't know. She's all the things. It just, she's a good actress because she's like, she shows all the things on her face. Unlike Delia, who always looks suspicious, because she is always suspicious.
Yeah, definitely.
I wonder if it's going to be like one of those things, like Like Delia did it. Delia did it all the time, and then all of a sudden she won't do it.
Like
but we'll think Delia did.
But it's like Delia. I want that.
Delia who cried well. I mean, probably down. I mean, she's on, I think, all of these years, so I guess we'll see.
General Hospital, whenever someone's murdered and it's not Jason, and you're like,
right.
It's not me, I didn't do it. And everybody's like, really, though? Because you murdered everyone else.
Then Sonny? So Roger talks to Ed. Why not me? He's like, because of you being, what was the excuse? He's like, if you pick me, it would look bad for you because I'm your son.
Nepotism.
He's all
afraid. He's afraid he's not benefiting from nepotism. Where I know he wants to benefit from the nepotism, and his father is like, I don't think it's a good idea because it will reflect poorly on both of us. But Roger says, but you know that whoever does this has the better chance of becoming chief resident next year. So you set me up for failure. And he's like, but you have the opportunity to run the ward, which is a great opportunity for you and would look great when you're trying to become chief of staff. And he's like, don't BS me. Like, you put Clem in position. So
I don't know if it was a thing back then where family couldn't work together on units or any of this stuff, but it is now. You can't. This would never have happened. So I don't know, but
jobs are like this. You can't work retail with your cousin. Like, you're not allowed. If you have the same last name and they can prove you're related, one of you gets fired or transferred.
Yeah, but I'm thinking since it was 1975, maybe it was different then, and enough things might have happened, and they're like, listen, we just can't do that anymore. I'm not positive. It's been a long time.
Roger's a little unreliable in certain areas, and this was his friend, so he went with Clem.
Yeah. I probably would have picked Clem too.
He's steadier and calmer, and he's proved himself over and over again. Roger's unreliable. He's emotional.
I mean, we know a lot about Roger. If we didn't know, I don't know. I feel like I would trust Clem. He just has that face. He just looks like a trustworthy guy.
He has that demeanor, like, and the way he interacts with the interns is like gives you a good idea of his personality. Whereas Roger's walking around brown nose and Seneca all the time, so it's not the best look.
And then Roger also says something like, well, he says something about, well, you did this for Faith. You did this for Faith. And then I put, I want it now, Daddy.
Veruca assaulted him.
He kind of did. I feel like he kind of did. And he's like, well,
lays the golden egg, Daddy.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I'm going to fight for it. So, in your face.
Listen, I don't believe for fighting for it, though. Like,
I mean, do what you got to do.
Right.
Frank's trying to wheel for Bob and Mary. Still can't. Delia arrives. Of course, that look on her face because she doesn't want him to do it. Mary brings in the electric chair. Delia's face instantly. Back to shit. How am I going to stop this?
So she feigns interest in the electric scooter.
How does this work? This is so fun.
I was so like, oh my God, guys, really? Really?
And then they're like, and here's the battery and all this. And you're like,
here's the cable that hooks it up. And if you unhook it, it doesn't work anymore. And she's like,
and what? And then what face did Delia show her? How am I going to fuck this up face? Like, and no one notices that face.
In the background. And you're always like, Delia, what are you doing? You look insane.
Yeah, shady shit. Because I'm like, oh man, she's gonna fuck with this chair.
She's gonna mess that chair up.
The second it came in,
yeah, I was like, she's over that chair.
The second it came, I didn't even think it was gonna make it as far as it did. I thought she was gonna like ruin it at the hospital. But I guess it makes sense to do it right before, because they could have gotten another one at the hospital. I'm sure.
Yeah, she's got to wreck it as close to mic time as possible.
So the last episode, Ryan for city council. It's time to get to, I don't know, what is it? It's just to like say that he's still capable of running.
Political rally. It's like a political
rally. Thank you. I knew it was something. I couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah, because that guy that was on like a month ago, the guy who was
Charlie. Sweaty.
So, like, yeah, because remember Delia talked to Charlie's wife.
Why is he always sweating? He's always sweaty.
Those lights are hot. Bake lights are hot. He's a big man.
I'm like, he needs a blood pressure pill.
Do you not
He's
remember
gonna
when we
die.
were on stage and how hot it used to be? It was hot.
He's always hot. He was hot when he came in the office the very first time we saw him. I was like, why is this man sweaty? Like, is that like a character trait or is it like a him trait? But maybe he has a stressful job. Maybe it's trying to make it look, because remember, he's always yelling at somebody.
He's so stressed, he sweats. Poor guy.
But he's always wiping himself.
He's just like really into hydration and drank like a shit ton of water before the show started.
Right.
He's like, this is too much water.
So Bob, Charlie, and Jill are preparing for the appearance. Frank wheels in, still working. Mm-hmm. Jack and Mary are there. Everybody's getting ready. Dee gives looks that she's up to no good. She drops her purse right next to the back of the wheelchair.
Oh, no, convenient.
Messes with the battery, whatever. I don't know how I guess she figured out how to just disconnect it. I don't know.
I think it was a plug, and you just, like a vacuum cleaner.
Well, then they could have plugged it back in.
I don't know. They all seemed really dumb about it.
Yeah, they did, right?
How does it work? I don't know. Oh, no. It was really bad.
Yeah, it was really weird. She messes with the battery. Pat and Bucky play at work. Bucky's like, oh yeah, look, I'm voting. He shows his one badge for Ryan, and then Pat whips it open. He's got Ryan's stickers all up and down, or buttons all up and down. It was cute. Faith has to work, and she's upset about it. Clem's like, sorry, girl, we need somebody on. And then Bucky's like, oh, I'll do it for you.
She takes advantage of him. She manipulates him into saying he'll take the position for her. It was really gross.
She did, but at the same time, he said it multiple times, and she said it multiple times. And he could have been like, oh, no, never mind.
I know, but she walked him into that.
Right. But, well, he took it. He took the bait. So now she can go and be with her Pattykins.
Ew.
Ew.
Why do you have to make it gross?
That's what I'm here for, to make things gross.
Fair.
Bob says Dee can talk after, like Frank does. He's like, oh, it could be like the doting wife and all this. She sees Jill like running lines with Frank. She's like, oh, Jill, I'll do that. Go somewhere else. So then she gets to do that. Charlie talks to the peeps about the rumors, all of this stuff. He's sweating, but that's him. Here's Frank, and then here's Frank, and the chair don't work.
Then they all panic. Yay!
I actually kind of thought for a minute that it would work and Delia get fucked up, and then she would have been upset. I wasn't sure how it was going to go. But.
I kind of thought maybe she would feel bad and fix it, and then I'm like, what am I thinking? That's stupid.
Delia?
She would never do that. Yeah. Because, she always looks guilty. So I thought maybe she'd feel bad, because she always looks so guilty.
That's like right.
Always. Half a second, and then I was like, I'm wrong. I'm absolutely wrong. And then when Mary was like, I've touched the cable and I don't know how the cable works, and I was like, Mary, you went to college, didn't you? It's a plug. Mm-hmm. So I was a little, and then Bob's like, I can't do anything, and I'm like, these people are useless.
Just playing around the chair. Bucky and Clem talk. Bucky gets a little deep. I didn't even really know what he was talking about. Do you?
No.
I don't know what was happening.
I don't know what he was saying. Like
Clem's like, I feel like it, pal.
What he's trying to say is like, sometimes you have relatives when you're young and you love them, but you're very distant from them. He's like, but he's telling the story like, sometimes you have an aunt. Like, bro, just say like, I love my aunt. Like, all you have to do is say like, I love my aunt. She's always been like a big figure in my life. We've always been really, really close. And instead he goes off on this like really weird tangent where he goes like, now when you're a child and you have an aunt and you love your aunt, but your aunt is like out there and like a distance. I'm like, are you high? You're at work. But what he's trying to say is he's upset and he doesn't want Nell to die. And Clem's like,
oh, okay.
Sucks, man. Because he's normal. And that he had to pierce through all of that nonsense to be like, what is this kid telling me about his aunt right now?
Right.
And it's like, it's sweet, but it's also like, dude, you could have just said, I'm sad my aunt's sick. And that would have been the same conversation. Clem still would have been like, sad.
Right.
Poor Clem.
So Roger, yeah, and again, poor Clem now. Roger comes to talk to Clem. Clem's having a bad day. He needs a good drink. Um, they go to see Seneca. Roger says that Clem has ICU patients, and it wouldn't be right if he goes. He's fighting for this. Seneca's like, "Well, are you willing to go to like court or like whatever the highest degree is for this?"
He's like, "I don't care. I'm leaving it up to your dad. Your dad is the one who made the call. Grow up."
Yeah, basically. He's like, "I'll go to the board." Sounds like, you know what? I'm just gonna withdraw. How about that? Does that work? Then like Roger gets to the hall, Clem's all upset, and he's like nothing personal. That was pretty personal for me. So
yeah, he's like,
beat
"Oh,
it.
like, offense taken and points made. I will remember this now." And the thing is, Roger didn't talk to Clem before dragging him into that office. Clem went
Nope.
into the office blind, having no idea what he was walking into, and then
Yeah.
getting cracked on by somebody he thought was his friend.
Right.
So if Clem comes for him, I mean, he laid out that golden, like he like laid it out. He's like, "Come get me, bro." And like Clem is
And
like,
you know he will, because you know somebody's gonna find out about that $6,000 or whatever it was.
but he put a target on his back and he
Yeah.
threw Clem under the bus. And that was so unnecessary. He could have had that conversation with Seneca without involving Clem until later, or at least told Clem what he wanted to talk. They could have worked it out between them, not in front of an administrator. Like that was the worst possible way to handle that.
Yeah.
He bullied Clem into withdrawing.
Yep. So back at the rally, Frank is trying the wheel because the wheelchair is not rolling. He goes very slow and steady. He makes it. Delia, of course, jumps in the way. It's not worth it, Frank. And he makes it out and puts his hands up. Yay, I'm here.
Wouldn't it have been funny if Jill had tackled Delia to the ground so that he could get by?
I would have loved it.
So funny.
Or Mary, any of them. Yes, it would have been amazing.
Tackled that girl to the ground so that would have been so funny.
Get out the way. That would have been great.
Right behind like the curtain, so only like her hands are out, like her fingertips, and they're dragging her back.
Yeah, these were very fun episodes. I liked it. So yeah, I'm guessing it's probably the last week of October, early November, as it is like an election time. And I saw a pumpkin.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I saw the pumpkin, even though you didn't see the pumpkin, but there was there. It was a pumpkin.
You know what? I really think he was flipping an apple back and forth. I was not paying enough attention to Bob.
It was a pumpkin face. It even had.
I wasn't paying attention to Bob.
Poor Bob.
Fine, but he doesn't have a storyline of his own yet, so he's not really all that interesting. The only thing he has is pines after Mary, and it's like everybody's pining after Mary. Like there's only one single girl in the entire town.
I know Bob gets involved with Annalisa when she comes.
I love Annalisa.
So she'll be there for a few years.
Young for him, and it's going to be another relationship that creeps me out.
Why do you have a problem with that?
I don't like power imbalances in relationships. It sucks.
I mean, Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones made it work, and they're both wonderful, and they're both actors.
When they were a lot older. When you meet when you're older, it's fine. When it's like
she
a
20-year-old
girl and a 40-year-old guy, it's a different scenario.
She was 30 and he was 50.
That's fine. She was 30. She was an adult.
So yeah, I like where it's going. I like now that Clem and Roger might be having some fights. That'll be fun because obviously Roger will be easy to take down because Roger is a gambler. So we already know he has an issue. Clem is the greatest, so he'll win.
Clem is the greatest.
I feel like Roger would do something shady and like set him up though.
Yeah, but
he has to.
I don't know when he's going to start doing that. I think Clem would have to score a point before he does that, before he starts doing that. He's probably going to feel a little guilty about what he did and leave Clem alone for now, and that'll give Clem time to come up with some plan to do something to him. But Clem is also an honorable guy, so whatever he does is going to be by the book, so he's going to have to catch Roger out doing something he shouldn't.
What questions should we, without giving things away, what questions should we ask Lemon Lady this week? What do we want to know? Is there anything we want to know?
What do I want to know?
We know that Frank is Christian Slater's dad from Lemon Lady. Thank you for that.
Cool.
Yeah, and can't you tell in his voice now? Like it has that same voice, that same rasp.
I really can't tell.
I can, very much so. Once she said it, I was like, yep, I can tell now.
I can't even see it. I just don't see it. I guess he has to get older for me.
I can see it too, especially like the way his mouth moves. Um, I don't know. Does Lem's stay around all through the 80s? Lem's Chinese restaurant.
Oh, Lem's yo, everybody is eating in that place. It's
Dude, I did like that scene too. I like that scene with her and with Mary and Jack, and she's like looking under the pan. She's like, I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything. They had like a shit ton of food. They had those 4 big pans and 2 things in front of them. That was funny.
Like, what are you still hungry?
Yeah,
ate all of that.
That was me last night. We went to Three Monkeys and we had like 5 apps and it was amazing. But filling.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, it was really good.
I haven't been there in 100 years, but our appetizers are worth it.
Yeah, remember like a $4 Tuesday? It's now $8. It's an $8 Tuesday.
Well, I don't leave the house.
Because the normal drink price are $15. So I'm like, okay, whatever.
I can't. Yeah. I'll be making
anything for a discount.
For the broke people.
For the broke peeps.
Come to my house. Somebody left some Surfsides here and I don't drink them. You can come by.
I'll come. Better. Wait. I love a Surfside.
I'll bring you.
I was talking about them. Yeah, please do. What else? Yeah, I know.
If Siobhan comes on, that's what I want to know.
What year?
Yeah, when does Siobhan come on? When are the other girls coming on? Do they come on?
Yeah. When do they? Like,
you don't have to give me like a date or anything. You can give me a time around. Like, do they come on first off, or are they just something that gets mentioned and disappeared? You know how in the first season of shows, like they'd have a bigger family, and then by the second season, a child would have vanished. I want to know if like Siobhan and Catherine are like that, or if they eventually come on the series.
I know Siobhan does because it's Mark Helgenberger at one of them. I don't know if there's multiple Siobhans. I don't know, but I don't know if
Franks.
I think Lemon Lady did say Kathleen comes on too, but I don't know. And I also know too from Siobhan because I saw a commercial with her in it. So she does come on and she has like red hair, like full blown red.
Well, that was my question then. I don't have a question then.
But I don't know when. I would like to know if it's like next year, like if it's 1976 they come, or are they just because I feel like there's things for them to be around, like to.
Well, I feel like wasn't there that ominous thing about, was it Catherine, where they lost contact with Catherine when she was moving around, and they're like, oh, we couldn't get in contact with her. And
is it Catherine or Kathleen?
Kathleen, something like that.
Kathleen. I think it's Kathleen.
Anyway, a Kathy. And they had
Kath.
They had a letter, and the letter came, but then she disappeared, and she didn't answer the phone call when I thought she was on her way to town when that was happening.
Yeah.
Why else would she not be there to answer the phone when her mom called, unless something had happened? Or is she dead? And then like we get her kids, like because she's got a couple kids. Like what's going on? What's going on over there?
I kind of want to know if Nell's surgery is a success.
Don't. That's a spoiler. Do not ask. Do not answer that.
Do not answer. Well, you don't look at the comments anyway. I
do. He's a brat, and he'll tell me. So don't give him spoilers.
I know. We'll probably find out. We'll probably find out next week or 2 weeks. I feel like she'll probably be in a coma for a little bit, and we'll see like Seneca going by her side and be like, oh, I'll do anything if you just wake up from your coma.
If they do that, I'm going to hate Seneca even more because he put her in that position. And this really doesn't fit the other embolism she has. So like this is like a stopgap. So if she has to spend 4 months in a coma because of his stupid stopgap, she lost 4 months of what she wanted to do. Seneca. If you're wondering which of the male characters I like Pat and I like Clem. I kind of like Roger.
Yeah, I think that's all you like.
Nah, Bob's fine. He's a little paternalistic, but he's a cop. What do I expect from him? And I like Ed.
I forget he's a cop because, like, I feel like he never does any cop things, like coply duties.
The cop is when he's hassling Jack for being a reporter. The rest of the time, And he's only doing that because he wants to get into Mary's pants. Everyone wants to get into Mary's pants, and all Mary wants to do is get married.
So, question for Lemon Lady. Will there be a storyline for Bob that includes him being an actual cop and doing something?
More cops? Are there more cops? Are the cops?
Are there cops around? I guess
cops in this town that talks about cops an awful lot.
There were in the beginning because of when they were investigating who pushed Frank. So there were in the very first
cops. And then what happened to the chief of police that they showed? The one that was like, don't investigate because we don't know anything. And I'm like, okay.
I wonder if they're like just very recurring.
Do they have any lady cops?
Will there be a lady cop like on
Edge of Night?
Oh yeah, what's her name? I'm blanking. Thank you, Deborah.
They call her lady cop. It's annoying.
She calls herself lady cop.
Well, because they all call her that. They're like, because she's a cop, but she's a lady. So she's a lady.
I'm the lady cop.
Like everything is lady. You put lady in front of it. If you're a doctor, you're a lady doctor. If you're a cop, you're a lady cop.
All right. So, thanks for watching today or listening to wherever you're listening from. Let us know if you watched Ryan's Hope. Does anybody else besides Lemon Lady watch Ryan's Hope at any point?
Who's your favorite character?
Yeah, who was your favorite character?
Who's your favorite character and spoiler-free why? Well, I'm try and keep it spoiler-free. If they're not
Who's your favorite character and why is it Pat? Because he's so cute.
He's
I love my Pat.
Nell's my favorite.
I love my Pat.
I used to really like Bucky, but I don't know. He's weird now. He got weird.
He's weird.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next time on Queers and Soaps, everyone.
Bye.